Welcome to Sunny Day Stamping. I'm Julie Baca, and I'm so glad that you're here. We're going to be making a really quick and easy card today, but I'm also going to be sharing with you 2 tips that really make your cards just stand out and look awesome. I've got a lot of punching tips to share with you too, because we're going to be using a stamp and punch bundle. But this layout that I'm going to show you and these tips I'm going to give you, you can use with so many different cards as you're making them at home. And I'm going to show you one color scheme we're going to make together, but I have so many examples to show you. I just really went crazy. I was just pulling out all my colors. And so I want you to be able to do that at home too. I hope this is a really fun project for you. So let's get started. Well, here's a close-up of our card. Just be thinking, what is it that catches your eye about this card? Because as you are looking through the Pinterest and whatever and getting ideas, what is striking your attention? And that will help you replicate that in your own cards. So look at all these cute little details. I love that. Now, for most of my projects, I like to try to keep the supplies more limited. It just makes for more quick and easy stamping, which is my favorite kind. So for this, you only need 2 colors of ink. And then whatever color you choose for the leaves, you're going to choose that color cardstock as your layer behind this layer and in the on the inside. And then obviously you need some white paper to stamp on and then a card base. For the example we're doing today, we're going to use Highland Heather, Granny Apple Green, and then our crumb cake base. But I have so many examples to show you. I went a little crazy. I just kept making them and making them because I only needed to pick 2 colors. So it makes it so quick to throw a card together. Now you're going to be able to use this same layout with a lot of different stamps that you might already have at home. Today I'm going to be using the Petal Park. It's a stamp and punch combination. And if you notice, this stamp set does not have any words. So with that, you can pair it with Go To Greetings if you want to make a happy birthday or thinking of you. I've got some examples to show you with this, but for most of my cards, I'm using the timeless arrangements. I just love all the sentiments in here. And I actually paired both of these together where I took the happy birthday from Go To Greetings and added one of these beautiful ones. Hope your day is filled with everything good, or from the bottom of my heart. So anyway, these are great in combination. But if you don't have either of these, dig through your other stamp sets and pick a greeting off of one of those stamps that will go with this step. So you're going to want to protect your work surface because we are going to be stamping off the paper for some of these images. This is the big grid paper that Stampin' Up! Sells, and I love this stuff. I use it and use it and use it. Let me show you. See, I use it and use it and use it, and I will flip it over and keep using it. So it lasts a long time. It covers up a lot of your work surface, which is great because if you're using like printer paper or something, it's smaller. So I am just stamping all around this little paper, just kind of creating my own pattern paper and just rotating this stamp. Now this stamp does have a big cutout here for flowers. But don't worry if there are dead spaces in your background image. I'm going to show you how to fix that. One way we can do right now is just ink up just a portion of your stamp, and then you can just throw just a couple leaves on there, just on the edge there. Now, while you have your green ink out, go ahead and pick a greeting for the inside of your card. I'm going to be making a thank you card, so I thought this was perfect. Your kindness means everything to me. Stamp that. Oh man, it didn't stamp all the way. My block was a little tilted. I could feel it. So when this happens, flip your paper over. You could also try to line it up, especially with these photopolymer stamps that are see-through, but I am not going to do that today. I'm just going to flip this thing over and we're going to try again. I'm going to make sure I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, making sure that block is nice and even. There you go. Now the last thing we'll do with this green is stamp our greeting and just pick a piece of scrap. When I was cutting the white paper for this card, I got a perfectly 1/2 inch strip of paper and that is all I need. And what we're going to do is just stamp directly on this scrap, even when it's long like this. I want to leave space on this side to put a flower and space on this side to put a flower, but not this much. So we're going to trim this down. You can do this with paper snips, or you're going to do it in your paper trimmer. And maybe you don't have a piece of scrap paper like this. go ahead and stamp towards the bottom of a piece of paper, and you can use your paper trimmer to trim it down to exactly the size that you need. And I didn't give you the measurements for this because maybe you choose a bigger greeting or something, or a smaller one. So you just trim it down to the size. The only important thing to remember is you want to leave room on this side and this side because we're going to stick a flower on there, but we'll do that later. So we're done with the green. So we're going to put all this away and get our flower color out. Now this is when I want to give you some punching tips. This is the punch that coordinates with that. We're only going to be using the flowers. And if you look at the stamp has all 3 flowers on one block, which is awesome, I have to say, because it really reduces the amount of work because you're going to stamp it once and punch it once. But we want to not just stamp anywhere on your paper. You want to strategically stamp so that you can punch this out. Now this punch, I'm going to put it in this direction. So I want my big flower on the right and my medium flower on the left when I go to stamp this. So actually, I'm going to be using the outline image first. So we're going to stamp this up. So instead of stamping it like this, you see how that does not line up with my punch? I am going to stamp it like this. So it is going to be in line with my punch. So when I go to punch it, it's perfect. Now, on this project, I am not using that leaf. And so if you were, I would not suggest trying to line up a leaf and punching the leaf and the flowers at once. Oh no, that will be way too much time. What I would do is grab a strip of paper and just pay attention to the orientation of that leaf. And I would even just practice. I'm going to make this a purple leaf because I don't feel like getting my green out. I would practice with, okay, that is the orientation. Then I would transfer it down to my strip of paper like that, and then slide it in, and it's going to line up perfectly. Now this is just a scrap piece of paper. I took an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock and just took a 2¼ inch strip off of that end to get this. And this is going to be able to hold 3 or 4 stamped flower sets. Now I am going to do 4 because I want to show you, but you can make this card with just 3 sets. Now they are not all going to fit like this. 3 will fit like this if you want 3, but let me show you how to fit 4. We're just going to rotate this around and kind of nest those flowers together. And trust me, it's still going to be easy to punch this out. So we're doing all of our outlines first, and then we'll go back in with that other stamp to fill in these flowers so easily. Now, instead of having to buy 2 different colors, we are going to create our second shade of color by just stamping off on our paper. And now you're going to always pay attention to where this big flower is, and that way you're going to be able to line up those 3 flowers all in one and get it on there perfectly. And honestly, the way this stamp is laid out, even if you don't hit it perfectly, it still looks good. So now I'm paying attention to where that big flower is. I'm going to come down here and stamp this triad. Or you could turn your stamp around, but I am choosing to want to just turn my paper around, and we're going to fill in the rest of these. Now we're just going to punch these babies out, and I like to turn my punch over, and I like to maneuver it with my left hand because I'm right-handed, and I'm just maneuvering it until I've got it right where I want it, and then I put the slightest bit of pressure here, and I double check, and I'm glad I did because that is not right. So I'm going to rotate it just a little bit, hold a little bit of pressure, and then I'll punch it. And those punch out so easily. So now, instead of trying to flip my paper over, I'm going to go down. Where is that big flower on the right? There it is. Line this up. Now I'm going to flip this paper around and punch out these other 2. So now grab your greeting and put 1 dot of glue on the left and 1 in the top right-hand corner, and pick yourself out a large flower to put on the left. And it's kind of extending the length of that greeting, and then put a small flower up on the right, and we're going to let this dry while we put our rest of our card together. Now, since we've got our glue out, go ahead and glue these on this layer. Now, as you're gluing these together, you'll notice the first tip to making cards just look really stunning. I think it looks awesome to just have the tiniest bit of a border. It just is so interesting, especially if you tie it in with one of the colors that you already have. I did forget to mention all the measurements for this are over on my website for all of these papers. I want you to be able to make these at home. So go over there and grab your measurements. My email subscribers will get this print and make project sheet, which will have all the measurements, linked to the video. You can scan this QR code with your phone to go right over to see the photos and the video, list of instructions, and also list of supplies there. So now we'll add these to our card. And I think this is tip number 2, but I realize I have more tips to give. Tip number 2, so we're going to do a very thin layer, but a wide border on the card. That just really makes it be like, wait, what is happening? This is not a normal layout, which I think is what makes it stunning. So here we go. We're going to add some of these flowers to the inside of the card. Actually, what we want to do is save 2 sets for the front. We need 2 sets of flowers for the front of our card. So let's save those aside. And then we've got all these others to put in places that will make it look fun. I'm sorry, we needed 2 sets for the front of the card, but we already used a big one and a little one. So I should have told you that at the beginning. So I think adding a punch to the inside of your card is unexpected, and it makes people be like, wow. You know what else is unexpected? Throw a couple punched images here at the top. You don't normally see people do this, and so it makes it look so cool. Then flip your card over and put one of these puppies on a back. No, let's put 2 of them on the back. We got enough. We're going to save this one for the envelope. So I'm just putting the slightest bit of glue on these. So then this last big one, you're going to want a fair amount of glue for that. You just use it as a sticker for on your envelope. You could even wait and use it as a seal instead. So isn't that so quick and easy to punch out all those flowers, but you get to put them in all these fun places that make your card look so great. Okay, let's decorate this front. Another tip for awesome card making are Stampin' Dimensionals. They are these foam. You can see that it's just a little bit thick. My camera has the hardest time focusing sometimes. See how it's just the littlest bit thick? It's going to pop up the image that is under it so that it creates a little shadow and makes it look awesome. You're going to need 3 for your greeting. You can peel these off with your fingernails, or if you don't have fingernails, you can use this take your pick tool. Now, when you're putting this on, you want to have this flower extending past the border of that center layer, extending into that crumb cake. And I think that makes it look so interesting. And we're going to do it 3 more times. We want to break that border edge. So I'm only going to put glue on half the flower there, and then we're going to make sure the other edge is popping up over that border there. So when I looked at that card at the beginning, that is what I noticed first. That was what was so interesting to me, is that these cut images are extending past the border, and then I loved that big thick border with the thin. So I guess I had 3 tips. Sorry. All right, then we'll put one more here. And we got one more little baby one, but we'll break the border on this one and have this kind of sticking off to the side here. Now, isn't that cute? Now, I purposely did not do a really good job filling in the card on this background because I wanted to show you how to fix it. This stamp set comes with some little leaves. So what you're going to do is just get your green back out, and wherever there's an empty spot, just put a leaf right there, and the problem is solved. You don't have to really fuss with it at all. And there you go. You've got this great card with all these cute little details that really make it stand out. But the main 2 tips I wanted to show you was make a thin layer for your card for the focal point, and then leave a thicker layer of card base. So you can do that design on so many different cards. Okay, so I've got 4 more examples to show you using the same crumb cake base and just switching out these colors. So the first color we're going to switch out is Calypso Coral to get this. Don't those look awesome? Now this one is Pool Party and Red. Now we've got Melon Mambo and Pretty Peacock. Those look so cool together. And then Crushed Curry and Granny Garden Green. So this one I made a happy birthday and I just wanted to play with some cool colors. This is a soft seafoam card base with Pretty Peacock and Lemon Lime Twist. Then I was like, oh man, I love Pretty Peacock. So I made that the card base. And let's see, I did soft sea foam and Calypso Coral, which looks so cool. And then this one, Crushed Curry and Granny Apple. And then I was like, hey, I want to try it out on those new in colors, which look awesome. These are great for fall. Look at this Pebbled Path card base. I think that is so stunning. And I just love it. This is with the Moody Mauve and the Wild Wheat. And then I did this one in the Boho Blue with the Wild Wheat on the Pebbled Path. Anyway, just wanted to show you, man, just grab two colors and just have fun creating. If you want your cards to look just like mine, you can purchase the Stampin' Up! Products directly from my website. There's a link in the description of this video that'll take you over to a blog post for this project. So you can see extra photos, you can get all the measurements, and you can see the supply list and purchase them right from there. I make my supply list like comprehensive. I show you everything I've used. So you can just uncheck the items that you already have or that you don't want. And I'm happy to help you, especially if you're a new stamper and you just don't know where to start. Man, reach out to me. I'd love to help you with all of that. Now, Stampin' Up! Just put out a new catalog. It's their fall and Christmas. You can see all those products online or in their catalog. So if you have any questions, reach out. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel and so that you get notified every time a new one of my videos comes out. See you next week. Oh, and have a sunny day.